Hello. We are on lesson 20 today. So, this letter was written by Brother Lawrence to a friend of his who was 64, and Brother Lawrence was almost 80 years old, so it must have been toward the end of his life. Because according to what I found about him, he lived till 77. Anyway, he writes, "It will be of great importance if you can leave the worry of your affairs and spend the remainder of your life only in worshiping God. He requires no great matters of us, just a little remembrance of Him from time to time, a little adoration, sometimes to pray for His grace, sometimes to offer Him your sufferings, and sometimes to return Him thanks for the favors He has given you, and still gives you in the midst of your troubles, and to console yourselves with Him the oftenest you can. Lift up your heart to Him, sometimes even at your meals, when you're in company. The least remembrance is always accepted by Him. You need not cry very loud. He is nearer to us than we are aware of. It is not necessary for being with God to always be at church. We may make an oratory of our heart, wherein to retire from time to time, to converse with Him in meekness, humility, and love. Every one is capable of such familiar conversation with God. Some more, some less. He knows what we can do. Let us begin, then. Perhaps God expects but one generous resolution on our part. Have courage. Let us live and die with God. Sufferings will be sweet and pleasant to us while we are with Him, and the greatest pleasures will be, without Him, a cruel punishment to us. May God be blessed for all. Use yourself. Start by degrees to worship Him, to beg His grace, to offer God your heart from time to time, in the midst of your work, even every moment if you can. Do not always confine yourself to certain rules or particular forms of devotion, but act with a general confidence in God, with love and humility." And it's quite nice that I read this one today, because this morning I've been having kind of a rough go. You know, when you get those morning blues, or you have a huge day ahead of you, and you didn't sleep during the night, and you're already tired, and you wonder, how are you going to do this, and how are you going to keep everybody happy? And sometimes you might miss something of that morning. Maybe your coffee ran out, or something that you normally, hello from a friend that you normally get didn't come, or you thought you were feeling strong the night before, but then when you wake up or get up, you're quite weak. And that's why we have to leave the cares with God. We have to sit back and we have to live with God. Live with Him. We're going to die with Him, and we'll be with Him for eternity in heaven. And our soul is part of God already. And when our soul gets to God, gets to heaven, it'll be such joy. That's why there's no more suffering, there's no more sorrow, because all of a sudden we're completely with God. And on earth we have our flesh, and we have different things that hold us down, that give us pain and suffering. And we're also human, and we tend to do things that aren't always the right thing, or we get bothered by the devil on earth, and in heaven we won't. We'll just be able to be who we are with no pressure from anybody or anything. So it's actually beautiful to be able to die with God and be with Him in heaven. And it's our gift here on earth to be able to live with Him, even with all the troubles, and know that He's there, and He's taken care of us before, and He'll do it again. And I just want to leave you today with good thoughts of how much God loves you, He sent his only son that he made, that he actually made, of himself to die for us, to show us that he loves us that much. We're his adopted kids, but he loves us, and he also formed us too. So, in the Bible, it never really does. Well, maybe it did say adoption once, but the rest of the time we're his kids. And in this letter, he says, "Have courage." Brother Lawrence says, "Have courage," and in the Bible, often it says, "Be strong." And one night, I heard God tell me to be strong, that I was his girl, and I must remember this. And you are his boy, or you are his girl. You need to remember that too. Be strong. Wait for him. See the awesome stuff that he's going to do for you. Take care and have a wonderful day, evening, morning, noon, whatever it is, wherever you are.